Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Today we are starting a new series where we're going to be playing the new SimCity game. Recently I did post a couple of videos about SimCity. One was a first impressions video that I did right away after first trying this game, and then I came back and did a more complete review talking about some of the pluses and minuses of this game, features that were done well and poorly, some issues that still exist. But I thought I would go a little bit further into depth. So this is going to be a Let's Play series, but it's going to kind of focus on more review type elements, you know, looking at the game critically and just pointing out some of the good and bad in the game. We certainly are going to be still playing it for enjoyment's sake, but I thought it would be fun just to go a little bit more into detail as we go. And anybody who's interested, you know, can certainly watch this and get some idea of what the game is like to inform your purchasing decision, or just to see how it works. So I started a brand new region for us to work in. This is a private region, and it'll just be myself in here. But we're starting with a nice flat city just to begin, and we'll go into some of the more complicated geography later on. But we have plenty of cities to pick from, plenty of great work, so if we get to that at some point, that should be fun as well. So, of course, the very first thing we need to do with our empty city is start putting down our infrastructure, our roads and things. Now, I've experimented in some other cities with some various road layouts, and something we have to take into account is the fact that, you know, our city is within these white boundaries here, and we have only one access to the main highway, and that we cannot change. So, and we have rail over here that we can add, but I mean, we can add rail lines, but, you know, the edge of the city is sometimes best. So one of the first things that I look at when I'm starting a city is the wind map. Now this tells us which direction air pollution is going to be blown, first of all. So this can give us a clue as to where we should be putting our industry, our dirty power, things like that. So as you can see, this is all moving towards the freeway, so we're going to want to have our heavy polluting stuff on this edge here, close to the freeway access. So that's good to know. We can also check our resources quick. We see that we do have coal, we do have some ore, no oil, and that's, yeah, so coal, ore, no oil. And we can also check quickly our water map. We do have a fair bit of water, and I think that's good to start with. So let's turn that off and jump down here to roads. Now, a couple of things to consider. You have 4 levels of regular road: the dirt road, low density street, medium density street, high density street. But then you also have avenues, which is what this guy is here. This is a high density avenue. It takes up more space than a regular street does, which means if we want to upgrade later from streets to avenues, it will screw up our layout, because that road will actually take up more space. So I like to try and get down the avenues early on. So I think what I want to do here, we're going to have industry along this edge. I think what I want to do is put an avenue that runs all along this edge, and that's going to be kind of the backbone of our transport system. So a couple of things that I'm going to do first of all. I'm going to use this dirt road kind of as a guide, because I want to check here just how big our zoning area is. Now I think this is just for low density, because I think if we want to get high density in here, you can see this darker yellow guideline behind where I'm zoning. That shows how big the lot actually is going to be. But I think for high density, that is quite a bit bigger. So let's do a little experiment here. Let's delete this road, and let's put in a high density street here. Let's check what the zone looks like. Yeah, as you can see, that is just perfectly sized for high density building. But now here's the tricky part. I actually want that to be an avenue. But you'll notice on this side, if we go avenue, that area for our zone is actually a little bit smaller, because now we have, you know, like a double wide road. So what we're going to have to do is, rather than using that guideline, and I'll turn that off, we can kind of try and this is one of the early downsides that I will talk about. That the grid and guidelines do not really help when you are using roads and avenues. Alright, that looks pretty close. Let's just test here. That looks pretty darn close. Okay, we're going to call that good. So let's let's delete that and start to get our avenues hooked up here. So the road grid, is not the most helpful thing in the world. It works well if you're only doing streets or only doing avenues, but apart from that, and look at that. Here's another issue. This little initial bit of road here is preset. We can't delete this or change it or move it. And this means we have an intersection here. And you can't have, you know, this road can only intersect at the intersection. If it, you know, tried to go sort of halfway through the intersection, that wouldn't work. So I think one thing we can do about this is upgrade this to a high-density avenue. There we go. Now it's high-density there, and we don't have the intersection. So I think now we will actually be able to... No, still, roads overlap. Well, let's... Well, this is very, very annoying. I'll tell you what, we're gonna do a little bit of cheating here, because see, here's another problem. If I use the guide off of this main avenue here, it gives me this extra wide spacing. But if I was spacing it off of a regular street, any of these four, it would give me a less wide square. So the sizes here are really kind of goofy. I guess we don't really have much of a choice here. So here, I'm going to draw these guide roads, and actually what I'm going to do now is see, I don't think I can actually, I can't build it there, but I also can't seem to get the guide to snap to this road rather than this line. I want it to snap to this road here. And it's supposed to snap to the last two roads that you are working on, but it actually does not appear to work that way. So you'll notice here, if we do this, well, let's look at this as an experiment. my zones, say industrial, you'll notice that that back guideline is now out of our city area. So this, if I zone this, we are not going to be able to get even medium density. This is a medium density avenue. It's just not going to fit. But here you notice it does fit. So this is a big frustration right now with the current state of the way these guidelines and such work. I think it's probably just you know, an oversight. So what are we going to do here? I guess what I'm going to do is plan on putting some city services right here. So I'm going to draw this out like this. But then I'm actually going to move okay, this is a very wasteful way of doing this, and you'll see what I'm trying to accomplish here in a second. Is it Control that we get the nice smooth curve? No, it doesn't appear to be. Is it Shift? Nice smooth curve. Control. I don't know. Alright, I understand this might be terribly boring, and I don't like that either. So, you know what? Gone. Alright, well, we're going on to plan C or D or whatever we're at now. Alright, I'm going to drag this down to the end here, and I'm going to drag this down to the end here. And we are, in fact, on a spending spree. We're running out of money rapidly here. But, so notice, this grid is different for streets than it is for avenues. So anyway, let's slap down some industrial there and there. Because remember, our wind is moving this direction, as you can see there. So we don't want this area polluting. We're going to go, I guess, with a trunk avenue. And we're running out of money here, but I'm going to bring this back down to medium so we get rid of that funny intersection. So let's speed this up because we want to get this rolling. Now we are going to need power. We have coal in this city. So I think what we're going to do is actually use that coal in our power plants for now. It's relatively cheap power. It doesn't seem to pollute a whole lot. Not as much as you would expect anyway. So I'm going to throw that down. Now we're running out of money again, but we should, our budget should get in the green here pretty quick once some of these buildings are finished. Alright, we're back and we've zoned a little bit more in this city. You can see we've got a bit more industrial down on this end, and then some more residential across, and we're putting our commercial straight up this avenue here. I think that's just clouds moving by. I don't think that's actually pollution, but not sure. So you can see our budget is doing better. We're at 4,000 per hour in the green. It looks like you know, our zones, if we look at the zone map here, our zones are mostly developed. We have a little bit more down here in this area that can be developed. We've had really high demand for commercial in this city for some reason. So I think I don't know how the engine decides that. In the other cities I've done, commercial demand has always been very low and industrial demand always very high. So I'm really not sure why that would be, you know, that some cities are commercial heavy, some are industrial heavy. I mean, that makes sense in the late game when you've kind of specialized, you know, whether you have an industrial focus or you've gotten rid of industry entirely in favor of, you know, say tourist focus, for example. But early in the game here we have very high commercial demand, which is very interesting. So I'm going to throw down some more roads here. So we need a bunch more residential here. And, you know, I know we said we were going to put all of our industrial down on this edge because the wind is blowing, actually. If you see this indicator, the wind is blowing towards the bottom of the screen there. I don't think there's an objective north, south, east, west in here, is there? I don't see any indicator, so I can't really describe it as going any direction. Anyway, towards the bottom of the screen. You know, but that's not a whole lot of space. Maybe later on, you know, if we can transition out of industrial, that will be enough. For now, I'm going to also put some of this going up the side here. And that at least should more or less only pollute itself, which would be good. Okay, so we're going to call this good for this episode, since we're about at our time limit. But we will come back for another episode. We'll see where the city goes. We'll definitely get more into the city services, how they work a little bit more. We'll have to start upgrading our roads, and then of course our power, water, sewer, that kind of stuff is going to have to come pretty quick, and we'll see how some of those features work. So anyway, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed this. I'm always trying to improve, so if you have any complaints or criticisms or helpful tips, please leave them in the comments. Feel free to check out some of my other videos. I do also some Minecraft videos, and I have a fun series on storytelling in video games, so please check those out. If you do enjoy, comment, like, subscribe. That will help me keep pushing forward and doing this and trying to improve. And until next time, have a great day.